PC Whiz Kid here with part 2 of the CyberPowerPC Gamer Xtreme, the 4500 series here from CyberPowerPC. As I showed in part 1, we went through all the components. Again, the highlight is the 4th generation CPU from Intel, the Haswell that we've been hearing about, the 4770K, top of the line. Look at it running here with a max TDP of 84 watts, 1.238 volts. As you can see, it's running very nicely at 4.2 gigahertz out of the box. CyberPower has optimized the BIOS and already set up this gaming rig to run at 4.2 gigahertz. Wow, this thing is a beast. As you can see here, we're running 4 cores, 8 threads. The motherboard is top of the line, Asus Tech, as you can see there. And of course, this model and memory are a great combination. The G.Skill 16 gigs of memory running at fast speeds can further be overclocked if you wanted, and the combination of adding an NVIDIA GeForce GTX 770 is also unbelievably fast. So we're going to look at benchmarks in this video, but let's talk about temperatures first. So CyberPowerPC has already configured everything, obviously, to keep things as cool as possible considering the speeds that this demon is running at. As you can see, it goes into the mid 70s for max load, and on the GeForce GTX 770 side of things, you can see here again, this is a top of the line card. You can tell also by the bus width, 256 bit, and the bandwidth as well. So we're going to get a lot of power to be able to run things on super high display settings, single and triple monitor displays. The defaults on the GPU core, memory, and boost are as follows. And in the sensors, we can see here what it's running on idle, okay, about 35, 36 degrees Celsius. And then if we set all of these to max, you can see that when I had this previously running at full 100% load, it went all the way up to 81 degrees Celsius. The fan speed, the RPM, 1850 roughly. And of course, this thing does heat up a little bit because, it's running at full load. This thing is a beast. And I'm telling you, there's no need to overclock this GPU any further. You're going to get tons of performance. We're going to look at that in a moment. I got a couple of games here that I reviewed and also other software to give you a good idea, a well-rounded idea on how this whole thing performs together. All right, so CyberPowerPC has always been configuring gaming machines from entry level to extreme. This is one of their extreme models. Definitely, they have great combinations. Here, looking at AIDA64 at the CPU ID, again, the Haswell CPU, great, awesome from Intel. Default is 3.5 gigahertz with turbo enabled. You get a boost, of course, and CyberPower has already pre-configured this to run even faster and locked it in at 4.2 gigahertz. So running the cache and memory benchmarks, you can see here the read, write, copy, latency results that I'm getting. Again, with CyberPowerPC's pre-configured BIOS settings, they've optimized everything and it's running very smooth and stable. Looking again at CPU Queen here on the AIDA64 Extreme Edition, look how close it comes to the 990X and the 3960X. So extreme CPUs against the Haswell, the brand new CPU on a Z or Z87 motherboard from Asus. And also you can see how it beats the competition in other areas as well. Now PC Mark 8, for those of you that are not familiar, I've run this on other machines. You can compare these results online. I've run the home and the creative benchmarks. And also I went outside of that and ran the Atto disk benchmark because this comes with an SSD, the Corsair Neutron 64 gigabyte SSD, and you can see there the read and writes, the sequential read and write speeds as well. Now on 3D Mark Vantage, here's the performance score. There's the GPU and the CPU separated scores. Terrific results again. If you're wondering how fast that is, well, let's compare it to other CPUs here. You can get a good idea how this machine is running compared to these other CPUs. And on the GPU score side of thing, again, the GTX 770, there's the score for that compared to other GPU scores. Now let's continue here on 3D Mark 11, the Advanced Edition. Again, performance score, terrific results. Again, there they are, the details. Comparing it with other GPUs, Here they are. Gives you a good idea on where this one stands compared to these other models. And of course, here it is running on extreme mode because we like to do different benchmarks, not on just the performance, but on extreme. And there are the results for that as well. Now, 3D Mark 11, all of these benchmarks do have similarities, of course, but they do stress the CPU and GPU in different ways. So that's why I like to run these different types of benchmarks and show you the different results. Cinebench also does a great result here with lots of frames per second on the rendering. The OpenGL benchmarks, you can see here again how the CPU ranks compared to these other CPUs that I've previously tested, and gives you a good idea as well. Now, on the OpenGL GPU score side of things, we'll just change that menu over to OpenGL, and you can see here the GTX 770 outdoes the 7950 GPU that I tested previously on an AMD machine. Not by too much, not by too much. It all depends, of course, on how much you overclock and set things up, but still, it beat it. So this is indeed a top-of-the-line machine giving great results. When it comes to gaming, again, with a machine like this, no worries, run everything on very high or even ultra high if you wanted. Here it is, Crysis 3, great results again. Crysis 3 does a great job in stressing out the machine. Aliens vs. Predator, again, the default benchmarks, here they are. You know, I didn't touch anything, I just left the defaults there. They are ultra high already, and it gives you a good idea on how that performed. BioShock Infinite, brand new game again, built-in benchmarks, I ran that as well on one of the levels, and you can see here how well that performs on a single monitor display and triple monitor display, right? So when we're playing Battlefield, for example, I love playing with surround 3 triple monitors going around so I can see people coming from the corners, stuff like that. Here it is, the machine, you know, with the fractal design case that I talked about in the first video. Great machine from CyberPower. Definitely recommend this with the Intel Haswell Intel Core i7 4770K. Wow, this machine is a beast. Like I said, runs super fast, quiet, and definitely recommend it. Comment below, let me know what you think. I'd like to thank CyberPower for providing it. Hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you for watching.